Welcome back to South Baltimore Now, everybody. Hey, Nate Carper here, enjoying this Friday afternoon with Kev, sitting in our studios. How you doing, Kev?
Nate, I am doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing fantastic, man. Just looking forward to the spring, looking forward to all these events we got coming up around the neighborhood, and looking forward to some fun stuff here happening, man. What about you? You got anything you're looking forward to?
Now I'm loving the Orioles so far. It looks like they're having another great season. Obviously, the weather's starting to warm up around here. There's always that breeze in South Baltimore, so I like it when the weather warms up and it feels just right. There's always all kinds of activities around the neighborhood, whether that's your own social activities or going to see some events and entertainment. So as always, just digging the springtime in South Baltimore.
We're getting to that season where it's like fun to sit outside and maybe grab a drink, grab something to eat. Speaking of that, Kev, I'd like to give a little shout out to some of our new sponsors / advertisers with SouthBmore.com.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
So first off, I want to give a big warm welcome to Don Tigre down on Fort Avenue in the Anthem House building. If you guys haven't been there, man, their tacos are fantastic. Their happy hour between 3 and 7 every day, Monday through Friday, is awesome. They've got a margarita tower that's unbelievable. We've got all kinds of drink specials, all kinds of food specials. So definitely encourage everybody to check that out. Also want to give a shout out to Mate Beer. People are going to think all we do is drink and eat, but you know what? You'd be right. Mate Beer is pretty amazing over on Sharp Street, right by the Ravens Stadium. Great place to grab an Aussie beer and a bite before an Orioles game, definitely before a Ravens game. They have a lot of game day specials. They got trivia nights going on over there, all kinds of stuff. Open mic nights as well, so definitely check out Mate Beer. And last but not least, after you've eaten and you've drank, send your kids to Sparkling Charms. That's going to open up soon at Southside Plaza right by Giant. Dr. Irene Spates is the doctor, and it's a really amazing place. She's going to do amazing things with that space, create it all for kids. They specialize in childcare, dentistry, and just definitely want to check them out because one thing we know, it's definitely a shortage of great dentists here on the peninsula for kids. A lot of the practices are maxed out. You can check out all these businesses on our directory and more if you go to directory.southbmore.com or just check out the links on southbmore.com. All right, there's my commercial plug.
Yeah, first of all, I couldn't be more appreciative to our sponsors. They are who keeps the lights on here at southbmore.com. So we're so thankful for their support. If you have a business, please don't hesitate to join our roster of sponsors here at southbmore.com. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, Don Tigre, I know me and you have been there for lunch, maybe dinner a few times, and the food there is really delicious. They're trying to bring that authentic Mexican experience, and the new owner, Oscar's doing a really good job. Then you look at Mate Beer, just another great brewery in the area, really great team down there. Really loving that place so far. And then I love how we're just adding more amenities to this area, especially if you're raising a young family. So Sparkling Charms Dentistry really fills a hole in the area to get your kids some good dental work without having to head to like Catonsville or Roland Park. So 3 great businesses. I love what they're bringing, and I appreciate all their support. As always, there's a lot of business news going on around South Baltimore, and one thing that's pretty interesting, and I guess we're just going to go ahead and talk about food again, is there's this breakfast and brunch boom going on here in South Baltimore. If you talk about some of the new businesses, Needs Bakery, which is a concept by the conglomerate H&S Bakery of Harbor East fame, they are coming in for an initial commitment of 3 months at the 3,800 square foot building on Fort Avenue that used to be the local Oyster. It was Rollo's for a long time. So this is a bakery that's bringing a lot of your brunch favorites, your breakfast favorites, some mimosas and Bloody Marys and mixed drinks and things like that. But a lot of bagels and croissants and pastries and all kinds of baked goods. I know people have been raving about their spot over in Harbor East, and now they're starting to expand. They're opening one up in Roland Park at the Cross Keys development, and now they're going to pay us a visit here in Riverside/Locust Point. So that should be an exciting addition to the neighborhood. Easy Like Sunday, speaking of Roland Park, here's a business that started in Charlotte, North Carolina. One of the owners, Anna McCush, is from Baltimore, so they wanted to move back here. So her and her husband, Sean, who started the business, along with their partner, Antonios Kokolis, have decided to basically bring their business operations to Baltimore. They started their first location at the Cross Keys development in Roland Park, and their first year apparently went really well. Really love the support they're getting there. And then when Iron Rooster closed down in McHenry Row, it became a perfect spot for them to take over. So they are renovating it right now to make it fit more their model that they have at Easy Like Sunday, which is just a brunch menu from breakfast till about 3 o'clock every day. And there are a lot of really over the top, good looking breakfast items like stuffed French toast and a fried chicken sandwich and chicken and waffles and a lot of fun things with your traditional breakfast favorites, and working in a lot of different cultures in their breakfast cuisine there. So they are excited to come to South Baltimore. They're going to add a outdoor dining experience to that spot at McHenry Row. And then you got their next door neighbors, THB, that recently opened. And obviously people love their bagels, and THB seems like they're really getting a lot of traffic so far here in South Baltimore. And then one other piece of news on the breakfast front is there's a new place at Cross Street Market called Batter Up. This is a concept by Karen McCarthy and her business partner, Sabby. And there's that 2,000 square foot enclosed space on the Light Street side of the market. And they're bringing a concept with a real big focus on pancakes. They're also bringing chicken sandwiches and desserts and different types of breakfast food. So they're excited to be in the market. And you know what? If you're sitting at your house around 9 o'clock, 10 a.m. and just craving breakfast, you got a lot of good options. And we've always had a lot of good options in the neighborhood, but now we have many more.
That's awesome. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm excited about all of those. And there's a few other businesses around the neighborhood that are coming too that we won't talk about yet, but you can check those out in an upcoming article. I know one thing, man, with Iron Rooster having pulled out of McHenry Row, I'm missing those Pop-Tarts, man. I'm looking forward to some new breakfast places. So my belly has a void in it for sure.
Sure. I think you're going to get some good options for sure. I know they're going with savory and sweet at all those places. So there should be some really good options. And unfortunately, we have to transition to some news that isn't as upbeat and exciting. The Archdiocese of Baltimore has really come up with a plan called Seek the City, where they're trying to consolidate the facilities they have in this city, really cut it down by 2/3. And two of the churches they are planning to close are two of the ones on the South Baltimore Peninsula. That's St. Mary's Star of the Sea, which is in Federal Hill. And then you have Our Lady of Good Counsel in Locust Point. They do plan to move all of their Catholic Community of South Baltimore operations to Holy Cross Church, which is also in Federal Hill. Another part of that plan is to take the church from Pigtown, Transfiguration Church in Pigtown. That's going to become part of the Catholic Community of South Baltimore Parish. So that's a big church in Pigtown, which the building's apparently in pretty solid shape. The plan is to lose those two churches in South Baltimore, and there really is a lot of support to keep Our Lady of Good Counsel. That's a church right at the corner of Ford Avenue and Towson Street in Locust Point, a really high traffic, vibrant location there. Certainly that's been a church that's been a part of the Locust Point community for well over 100 years. So there's a lot of support to see if that church can be saved. It needs $2.2 million in structural repairs, so it certainly will be a lot of capital cost to keep it going, but there seems to be a lot of support from the community, and they're certainly making the case that while we all love South Baltimore, Locust Point and Federal Hill / Riverside in many ways are two distinct neighborhoods where, you know, if you live in Locust Point, you can walk to the things in Locust Point. If you live in Federal Hill and Riverside, you can walk to the other things in those neighborhoods, but sometimes when you're going in between those two different sections, you're going to hop in your car. So people in Locust Point really like having that walkable church there. And it's certainly a church that does a lot of events and hosts AA meetings and religious ed. And certainly it has the Montessori school there, which is a tenant of the church property. So it'll certainly be interesting to see how that evolves. And then if it does go away, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that real estate. We've seen some interesting ideas with churches around the city. There's one in Upper Fells Point that became a brewery. That would, as much as I love breweries, that would be quite a shock to the system to see the church where I was married and where my kids were baptized as a place to get a strong IPA. So that would certainly be strange, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And it sounds like they're going to try to make their final decisions in June. So certainly quite the story there.
Okay, as you mentioned, Catholic Community of South Baltimore does a lot of good for the neighborhood, whether you attend services there or not. It doesn't matter because they do so much great stuff. But I want to give a plug also to A Taste of Spring, which is going to happen at Our Lady of Good Counsel in Locust Point on Sunday, May 5th from 12 to 5. It's going to be a great event. So just, again, they could use a little extra money, and this is a great fundraiser, and it's just a fun community event.
Transitioning to another story, obviously we have a high school in Federal Hill, Digital Harbor High School. If you talk to business owners or neighbors surrounding the school, they can say that especially the dismissal of the kids every day in the early afternoon and sometimes kids getting to school in the morning can create some chaos, a little bit of disruption in the neighborhood. The overwhelming majority of those kids do not live in the community, so they're all either walking through the harbor or taking public transportation to get here. So there's a local nonprofit called the Movement Team, which is based in Federal Hill. That was started by Akil Trice in 2014. He was a truck driver of several decades, and he just felt moved to help out the youth of Baltimore any way he could. He started his nonprofit. So they've been working in Baltimore City Public Schools for quite a few years now, but their new program is to get into the community when schools like Digital Harbor have dismissal or arrival and make sure that these kids are being respectful of the community, that there's no loitering or damage or too much foul language going on. And one of the things I really like the approach he's taking, because he's trying to reiterate to these kids and create a lot of relationships with them where this is a place where people live. This is a place where people are raising their children. This is a place where people have businesses with outdoor seating. So just be as respectful as possible, but he also wants to make sure that we can create a relationship where the residents and business owners of this neighborhood enjoy having these kids here and want to have relationships with them. And it's a positive relationship on all ends. So it seems like he's taking a really strategic and positive approach to this. And hopefully any disruptions that have occurred with the dismissal of Digital Harbor can really be minimized by the great work the Movement Team is doing. And hopefully just a overall better relationship between Digital Harbor High School and the Federal Hill community.
And hopefully, not to give too much away here, but we're really hoping to get the founder of this program on the podcast soon. So stay tuned for that.
He has a great story and tells it well. And I really look forward to that episode. In case you're listening to this in time, as always, there's a lot of great events going on around Baltimore this weekend. The O's are hosting the A's, which are currently in Oakland. They're going to move to Sacramento. Then they're going to move to Las Vegas. So some fun Orioles games coming up. It's Saturday is Brandon Hyde 2023 AL Manager of the Year bobblehead night, so that'll certainly be fun. Stomp is stopping by Hippodrome. The BSO always has some performances. The Lyrics really just been crushing it with the comedy acts lately. They have Jim Brewer this weekend. And then our friends over in Union Square, they're bringing back their Sunday Sounds concerts in the park. So Jesse Moody's going to be the artist there. And as always, please check out our weekend events article we do every week. We make sure to put all the live performances that are at Ramshead and Baltimore Soundstage and the 8x10 and all the bigger venues around town. So a great way to see local events, live music, farmers markets, outdoor fitness. We try to cover all that for you and give you a nice itinerary of how to have a great weekend in Baltimore.
What a great rundown. Thanks. The reason I wanted to do this episode today was because I wanted to have a nice little check-in with our audience and right here around springtime. And first of all, I want to thank all of you who listen week in, week out. We have great listeners here, dedicated listeners here to the show. We really appreciate that. And thank you for those that spread the word on the podcast and the site as well. Really appreciate that. It just helps all of our neighbors and friends and everybody in the community stay more engaged. And we're going to ask for a little something from the audience right now to do a little photo challenge with you guys around South Baltimore. So if you're still listening, hopefully you are. Hopefully you haven't tuned out yet to our shenanigans. But if you have, sorry. But if you're still listening, I'd like to do a little photo challenge. So here's the deal. I'm going to put my email address in the show notes of this. So wherever you get your podcast, you're going to be able to see those show notes and see my email address. I think it'd be really fun to have anybody that's interested take some photos around South Baltimore. You don't have to put yourself in them. Put your dog in it if you want, but just get some random photos of South Baltimore, and we're going to make people guess where you are. So obviously you don't want to take a picture of, let's say, the Riverside Park picture itself. It's going to be a dead giveaway. But what Kevin and I are going to do is we're going to pick the top photos that come into us, and everybody who has one of those top photos, I'm going to put into my little random drawing generator that I have, and we're going to pick out some winners, and those winners are going to get a gift card to a local restaurant. We're also going to announce you and thank you on a future publication and podcast. I'm going to give everybody until May 15th. If you can collect those photos and send them to us at email address would be Carper Creative. That's CARPER Creative, CREATIVE. I don't know if I need to spell that, at outlook.com. You have till May 15th to send those in. And it'll just be a fun little thing we're going to do for the community.
I love it. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be fun. All right. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking out our stories. Thank you for looking at the directory that we have to check out all those local businesses and all those deals. We have coupons on there. We have events, and things are always changing. So we appreciate that. Again, get out there, check out Don Tigre, check out Mate Beer, and get those kids into Sparkling Charms Dentist Studio. But thank you all so much. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you real soon.